Hello friends, my name is Dan. I'm going to talk to you about building mini-SaaS solutions with WebWidgets, a framework for web development that I created. And I'm going to describe the value proposition for WebWidgets in terms of a two-dimensional graph of workflows. And I'm going to characterize the workflows in terms of the value they bring to your company, how important is it to you to optimize these workflows with software versus how standard or custom the workflow is. Is it a very common problem that many organizations have versus is it a problem that's specific to your organization? Now at the lower part of this graph is a very simple approach, which is put the data in a spreadsheet and email it back and forth. Google Sheets is great for this. The point is that this is not a very valuable workflow. You don't need to invest a lot of time and energy and money into optimizing it. So you just do a simple, basic solution. It's not clever, it's not sophisticated, but you don't need it to be clever or sophisticated. The second zone is the classic SaaS zone. Here we have problems that are common to many different organizations, but are potentially valuable. The king of SaaS, I would say, is Salesforce. Salesforce has a customer relationship management platform. This CRM workflow is very common to a large variety of organizations, and so they have built a very sophisticated solution for that problem, and many organizations pay them for that application. Another example is Workday. Many organizations have the problem of managing their employee benefits. Now we get to the zone where it's a little more challenging because the problem you have is custom to your organization. That means you can't just go out and get a SaaS because nobody else has that problem, so nobody has built a SaaS solution to it. And in this zone, it's very valuable and very important to get that workflow optimized and make sure it runs perfectly. So what you need to do is spend a lot of money to hire consultants or freelancers. And this is likely going to work. There is a lot of work. There is a lot of risk with consultants, but if you just need to get it done, you're going to get out your checkbook and pay outside engineers, outside talent to build the solution for you. And this final zone is where WebWidgets come in. This is a zone where the workflow is custom specific to your organization, but it doesn't fit into either of the two categories. It's more important and more valuable than simple spreadsheets can help with, but it's not so valuable that you're willing to spend $1 million to hire IBM to build it for you. Right, so I actually believe there's quite a few workflows that fall into this category. And my value proposition for WebWidgets is that I can build mini SaaS solutions 10 times cheaper than other approaches. Okay, so what's the secret? Peter Thiel asks aspiring entrepreneurs, what do you know that no one else does? What is your treasure map that's going to create this value? And my secret is that building web apps is actually much easier than you think if you make some simplifying assumptions and if you use the WebWidgets framework. Now, to demonstrate that claim, I'm going to show you some real code. So this is a HTML table. This is a CS 101 problem, Introductory Computer Science. On the left, you have the code for the table. This is HTML code. And on the right, you have the view of what the browser shows. I hope many people have seen this before. It's, again, something very simple that you do in a basic class. It is nothing complicated. Now here we have some real widgets code. On the left is the code that generates the table on the right. And this is the actual code. I'm not simplifying anything. This is literally what's running to build this table. And what I hope you can see is that the widgets code is not that much more complicated than the simple HTML code. Maybe it's not CS 101, maybe it's CS 102. It's the second semester of the introductory course. You just need to use some JavaScript to integrate data from the database into the HTML description, right? Now I mentioned some simplifying assumptions. Let's talk about those. One of them is that the data shouldn't be too unreasonably large. If you start talking about 1 billion records, that's going to be tricky. I'm going to have to think a little bit about how to build that. 10 million records should be no problem. Also, there shouldn't be too many users. If you say you have 100,000 users, that might be challenging, but 100 users, no problem. And if you think about these numbers, these are very, very reasonable numbers for small to medium-sized businesses. So if you're, for example, if you have a widget that is tracking your customer orders, well, if you get to 1 billion customer orders, you're really, really happy. Okay, that is a good problem to have. If your company grows to 100,000 employees, you're really, really happy. So the 10 million and the 100 users is a pretty good zone for a lot of businesses. And finally, it's not going to be slick. So you saw in this table, this is not a beautiful web page. It's a simple, basic, functional table. Let's build together. If you have a problem that could benefit from a mini-SaaS solution, let's talk. Again, I can do this 10 times cheaper than other people can because of this framework I'm using. If you introduce me to a company that could use a mini-SaaS solution, I will provide a very generous revenue share to you, and we can talk about the details more offline. Thanks very much for listening.